Welcome back to Canadian Justice, where we're chatting with Joanna Baron from the Canadian Constitution Foundation, the same charity I work at, about some of the cases we're looking forward to in 2022. Now, one of the mandates of our organization is to work on issues related to property rights. And there's a really important case that we're participating in the Supreme Court in February of this year related to property rights. And what can you tell me about that, Joanna?
Yeah, so the case is called Annapolis v. Halifax, and it concerns a corporation which owns a piece of land in Halifax, which the city has started treating basically as a park, putting up signs, in informal ways, preventing the company from developing the land. And so it raises the question of, is this a de facto expropriation? I.e., if the government does something that effectively prevents you from developing or enjoying your land, ought they not have to pay compensation? And the test in the law right now is very unfavorable to property owners. It's really difficult to show de facto expropriation, which would give right to a claim for damages. And so we're intervening to clarify that test and make it really fair for property owners.
Yeah, because normally if the government takes your property, they need to compensate you for what they've taken. But if they've kind of used these sneaky maneuvers, as they seem to have in this Annapolis case, they're saying we don't need to compensate you, even though we're not allowing you to develop the property which you were supposed to be able to develop. So I'm really looking forward to that case. There's another case that we're working on in British Columbia related to COVID and the proof of vaccination policies in that province. What can you tell us briefly about that case?
Yeah, so British Columbia has been the most draconian in terms of, from the outset, initially they said there would be no medical exemptions to the vaccine passport policy. They subsequently, reneged a little bit and said that there would be some very limited categories, but no process for reconsideration. For example, if your physician determined that you were medically unable to be vaccinated and it didn't fit into these preset categories, there would be no process for review. So we're seeking to have a judge review this entire policy. We have several applicants who have very serious, very concrete medical reasons why they cannot be vaccinated. For example, one teenage girl who developed pericarditis, which is a known but rare side effect of the Pfizer vaccine. And so we're seeking to have just a fair and constitutionally compliant process for seeking medical exemptions to the vaccine passport policy.
Yeah, under the current policy, this teenage girl would be permitted, could apply for an exemption and be granted it, but it's on an event-by-event basis. So anytime she wanted to go out to a restaurant, for example, that requires proof of vaccination, she couldn't do anything spur of the moment. She would need to apply each time, which it's just a ludicrous policy. It just doesn't make sense. And this girl has one of the most recognized, albeit rare, side effects of vaccination, which for most people are safe and effective to take, but in her case, it's not safe to take. One of the other things I wanted to chat with you briefly about is a mission that we have on public education. What are we doing in the coming year to educate people about their fundamental freedoms in Canada?
Well, so in addition to everything that you and I do on a day-to-day basis, writing op-eds, speaking to the media, analyzing the policies of the day, we also have built over the last year, with the help of our amazing summer intern, Chantal Bellavance, a constitutional law course which outlines the fundamental structure of the Constitution, the protected freedoms, the structure of the Constitution, and how these rights actually interact with your everyday life. We have recruited some of the most decorated and accomplished, brilliant legal academics in the country, lawyers in the country, to really talk in a nuanced but also, non-jargonish way about the Constitution and how it protects Canadians. It's going to be available on our website this month for free.
Yeah, free, and you can do it at your own pace. Anyone who registers at the ccf.ca will be able to find out more about that. That's all the time we have today. Joanna, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, Christine.
We've heard today about the work of the Canadian Constitution Foundation, the legal charity that I work for, which is one of Canada's leading voices protecting fundamental freedoms. I hope that you found the work we do as exciting and cutting edge as I do. It's a great privilege for me to get to do the work we do at the CTF, work that very few people in Canada do, and it's also a great privilege for me to get to tell you about it today. If you believe in a freer Canada, civil liberties, and protecting fundamental freedoms, visit the ccf.ca where you can learn all about our cases and subscribe to our freedom updates to stay in the loop.